And in fact, that was 3 years ago. She's had it that long. And it's slow growing. She's opted just to, not do it, not deal with it. But the point is that I was talking about that, and by the time it hit CBS News and ABC News last week, oh, this guy Ron Paul talks to says they want to make you gay. No, what I said is that fish are hermaphrodites, frogs are hermaphrodites all over the Western world when our sewage dumps into the water. This stuff coming out of us is so strong, it's destroying them as well because their life cycles are quicker and it mutates more each generation. Just type in human DNA massively damaged from heavy metals, and there's all the big reports. So for those that don't know what an Omega Man is, it's a remake of that Vincent Price movie, What the Last Man on Earth, or whatever it's called. They're both excellent sci-fi movies, where there's a virus that basically turns people into these undead. And some of them retain their intelligence. And he's got a cure for them, and at the end he's like, I can cure you. I figured out how to reverse the virus. He's a scientist. And they kill him. And so I was using the analogy of, hey, did you know the system wants to reduce our population? They want to break up the family, so they're using hormones on us, just like they have genetically modified mosquitoes they release that then breed with the other mosquitoes with a genetic trait to produce a hormone, so they're sterile. The mad scientists are manipulating us, and their answer is, you're not supposed to tell people they have a choice. They're supposed to say, it's trendy, be glad you want to put makeup on, as a man out there because you've got so much estrogen. Be glad you feel like a woman. Be glad you've got male breast. Be glad your wife's dying of breast cancer. Be glad your mother's dying of breast cancer. And you're anti-homophobic or homophobe or whatever if you don't embrace it. See how that's all scientific? They're just cold scientists destroying our humanity, destroying our sexuality, artificially changing us. Then the argument is, oh, there weren't gay people in Rome. Of course that stuff's gone on in history. I'm not making even a moral issue here. I'm saying I have a choice. They shouldn't be trying to spike everything with female hormones, man. That's uncool. Okay, I don't want to take female hormones. I want to be a male, okay? And I don't want my wife to be bombarded and my daughters with so much they get breast cancer, okay? And now, oh, you're anti-woman. You don't want them to die. See how they use political correctness? I'm like, folks, this is hurting us. It's killing our women. Shut up. You just don't like women. No. They're putting the hormone in. It's hurting women. Shut up. You just want to hurt women. It's all nonsensical political correctness.
Jones.
All right, I'm continuing with your calls a little bit here, and then I'm going to get into more of the news and more of your calls, and Gerald Celente is joining us. Bobby just brought up a subject that when I started hitting it, well, more than a decade ago, but it started getting attention about 3 years ago, the system is really scared of this because they are jacking the GMO to sterilize men and women, but they're also adding feminizing, sterilizing, fertility-reducing hormones, as the Rockefeller Foundation said they would do in the mid-'60s. We've republished those documents that are public, but linked to them at Infowars.com. They are feminizing men. They're not just adding sodium fluoride to brain damage you and reduce IQ. And I guess the political correctness now, if you say that, is don't call people dumbed down. He's making fun of you, saying you've been dumbed down. Drink more fluoride. But they don't do that there because it's too obvious. But when you say, hey, bisphenol A alone in most plastic products and linings and in the printer ink is massively increasing breast cancer in women in major studies, they don't know what to do. But I added it also feminizes men, and men are the main target. It's a byproduct for women dying of the breast cancer, and the women are going into fertility at now younger and younger. Some as young as 3, if you can believe that. But they're now having babies at 7 and 8. Fertility 100 years ago was on average 13 or 14. So all of that's going on. All of that's happening, and their answer is, shut up, you hate gay people. And so not debating the morals of it here, so I can get through to some of you that are mind-controlled out there. Do I have a right to not have the government put female hormones in me? And a lot of folks have joined the cult. And I'm saying a cult aspect of that, and they're like, shut up, we're going to get you. You know, might as well give in to it. And it becomes a body snatcher type deal. If you want to force people artificially to join something, and see, as more and more of the public goes under the influence, and they also have the social stuff pushing it on the TV, so people act on the hormones, then as you're like, well, I don't want to take it, and they're like, you're going to take it. You're going to join us. And so that's really the point it's now reached, is that you're going to join us, you're going to do this. And a lot of it is repressed families, people that are really into things that they think are shocking. And so it's the bad thing, and we're going to make you do the bad thing. But for the globalist on top, it's just cold-blooded, put the sterilants into the water, screw up the society. And then when somebody pops up and says, here's all these government documents, use political correctness and say you're attacking people's identity. And that's why I use the Omega Man analogy, where he's like, I have the cure. You know, they're putting chemicals in you. And they're like, shut up, kill him. And so that's basically the answer. So if you like dying of breast cancer and testicular cancer and prostate cancer, knock yourselves out. Okay, I'm the bad man, I guess. Because that stuff hyper-ages those organs. Because it's also, you know, a toxic form of the hormone that creates a lot of other retrograde hormones that it breaks down into. I don't want to get all into the science. You can go look at it yourself. Bobby, give people that latest report you mentioned. Now, I've seen probably 50 or 60 over the last few years, but give us the latest, and then we'll pull that up and see if I've seen that in the past.
Yeah, you just Google BPA and retail workers, and it's a report from the Environmental Working Group. And it shows how they tested the retail workers about 30% more estrogen from handling receipts and money and whatever else. And imagine what this is doing to pregnant mothers who are getting 30% more estrogen with that fetus inside them.
And they're getting more miscarriages. They tend to, when you have too much estrogen and not enough of the other hormones, progesterone, they have that second trimester miscarriage. But why tell women how to not have all those miscarriages that are epidemic? You're not trendy. You need to just shut up. You don't like gay people?
We're being bathed in it, and all this post-consumer recycle stuff they're pushing. They're finding that even the toilet paper is exposing humans to harmful amounts of BPA because of the store receipts, which have been found to contain 2%, up to 2% BPA in total weight. So all this stuff that's being recycled and being, pushed as a better alternative, these bags are being.
And again, we're all seen as animals. They put it in the money, the paper, the printer ink. All sitting back, scientifically laughing at us. Finish up, Bobby. Straight ahead. I want to hear more from you.
Radio Network.
The globalists like to play God. And one reason I enjoy taking phone calls is because they take us in directions I wouldn't have normally hit today. Bobby has been on with us since the last segment of the last hour. And you can pull it up. In fact, guys, we're going to show a video clip here in a moment, but then pull up BPA retail workers 30% higher. I do remember that. That came out months ago. BPA is on record triggering breast cancer. It's on record triggering prostate and testicular cancer. And if people think that's funny, that's wonderful. But CBS News and others last week attacked Ron Paul and said he goes on the show of Alex Jones, who says the government puts chemicals in the food to make us gay. Now, this is a good thing that they're attacking on this subject, because they're attacking because they're scared. What I pointed out is that it reduces male fertility and makes girls go into puberty early and causes the artificial aging, the accelerated aging of sexual tissues, tissues that have a high hormonal flux, the ovaries, the breast, the prostate, the testicles. Those are areas affected heavily by hormone flux. To boil it down and simplify it, sharks do not get cancer because sharks do not operate off of hormones. They're cold-blooded. We're warm-blooded. That's why cancer is so high in mammals and marsupials, for that fact. One of the reasons is because we are hot-blooded creatures. Our hearts beat fast. We have hormones. We're supercharged. We're jacked up. Now, the system, and that wears out cells. Now, there's the Centers for Disease Prevention. Found BPA in 93% of Americans over age 6. And it goes on to get into the fact that workers in retail have a 30% more BPA in their bodies. That was as of May 2009. So that's the federal government's own report. You can link right there. We have it on screen for prisonplanet.tv viewers to that federal disease control and prevention in Atlanta. And they were forced a few years ago to report on it because it was all over Japanese, all over Russian, all over European news. I mean, again, I've been covering this since I got on air 16 years ago. And we knew then this is added to our food through the lining, through the microwavable stuff, through the glasses we buy, the bottles, but the printer ink, the money. And again, they have thousands of plastics they could use. Now, Bobby just brought up something that was key. BPA has proliferated. If you go back 10 years ago, aspartame was only in a couple hundred products. Now, because the public's become aware of it, it's in over 10,000 last time I checked. You can't buy sugar gum at a major store that doesn't have it. It says sugar, but it's got aspartame added. And why? Because you're going to get addicted to that gum. All those food additives just aren't additives for flavor. They're addicting. They're addicting. They got a federal law passed decades ago where major fast food restaurants can use in the dough on things that are fried on the batter, they can put silicone in it. No wonder kidney failure is off the charts. No wonder liver failure. No wonder fatty liver. They're poisoning everything. And you study these elites, they don't eat any of this. They are obsessed with organic. They are obsessed with it. They know what they're doing. And you know, this is what's funny. It's not funny. It's very sad. I get up here, and I just showed you the federal government's own documents on screen, told you what to search to find them. You can get literally, there's the CDC's own report. But separately, when you read into the deeper studies on bisphenol A, hyperfeminizes women, feminizes men. It is an estrogen. You might as well, like Bobby said, go to the doctor and say, I want to become a woman, give me female hormones. And they'll say, here's estrogen, here's progesterone, here's everything else. And you'll grow hips, you'll grow breasts, your skin will glow like you're basically a pregnant woman. Now, my point is, they're doing this on purpose. They're selling the culture, they're selling the ideas, they're injecting it while putting the chemicals in. And they've done studies, you can pull them up, where you give this to monkeys, you give it to dogs, you give it to frogs, male frogs, even reptiles operate similarly, will start acting like females. And then when you scientifically get up here and try to warn people, they make a joke out of it. I'm not attacking anybody for what their identity is. Quite frankly, I don't care. And people get off on this stuff so much and love it when they get attacked for their identity, whatever they're into. I don't care. Stay out of my way, okay? Leave my Second Amendment and my private property, my freedom alone, and don't try to brainwash my children to your thinking, no matter what it is. It's simple. I want to be independent and free. But let's be honest. We're in an artificial habitat with the system on record jacking with our food and our water. And by the way, it's not just with the sexual hormones. They're adding over 350 chemicals are added. Generally, it's only a couple hundred, but there's 350 plus that tend to be added to your water in what they call fluoride. We're talking about radium, strontium, uranium. Now, if those had sexual effects, which they do, they reduce fertility, increase cancer, but they don't really flip you one way or the other sexually, they would say, don't criticize uranium in the water. You don't like gay people. And you're like, what does that have to do with gay people? It's all just a politically correct game they play. And CBS and ABC and all these other big publications with the